It's 5:30. I'm going to call this council meeting together. We do have a quorum, and we've got, just one announcement. We'll start having our committee meetings in here, so we can be on, people outside can watch us through the online. Next thing is, we're going to rearrange our, to accommodate some committee chairs. We're going to move Public Works to the beginning, then we'll do Finance right after that. Is that okay with you, Justin?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you.
Mr.
You ready, Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mayor, the only item on the Public Works Committee agenda tonight is a contract with Pipeline Analysis to perform an evaluation of sanitary sewer basin number 1. The money is allocated in the budget for that, and they came in on budget for what we had anticipated they would. This is an ongoing process due to I'm going to call it an agreement with TCEQ to evaluate our system, locate and identify the various problems in the system, shortfalls, whatever, and then begin a systematic repair of the system. Pipeline Analysis has performed the other evaluations for our various basins. Their work has been good, according to Mr. Williams. They have provided the necessary data, and they've done so in a timely manner. And Mr. Williams is using that data to work up the various reports and repair systems that he needs to work on for now, for immediate work, and for the future also. I'll open it up to questions if anybody in the committee has any questions about Pipeline Analysis or the contract. There is a copy of the contract included in the agenda tonight.
Just one for public knowledge, how many basins have we done so far?
We lack 2. This basin and one more are the only 2 that are left.
So next year would be the last year of this, the puzzle piece.
Yes, and we have separated some of the others into 2 parcels because of the size and the costliness of it.
Right.
And I don't know about the last basin. Mr. Williams and I have not discussed that, whether we'll need to separate it or not. But next year will either be the last year or in one more year, depending on whether we think we can accommodate that in one more analysis.
Okay.
Any other questions? Do I hear 'em?
We certainly don't want to upset TCEQ as their neighbors down the road have found out.
We want to stay on their good side, and this is one of the ways that they have agreed to allow us to continue to operate, and with their oversight, overlook some SSOs and some other issues because we are trying to address them.
Right. I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor, that concludes my report, and we will take that to the council with a positive recommendation for their approval.
And good luck with the rest of tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Haskell, Finance Committee.
All right. First item on the agenda, Finance Committee, is to review the system purchase agreement pricing summary between the City of Stephenville and L3 Harris Technologies. Chief, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Distinguished members of council, Mr. Mayor, I would like to hand out to the committee members, and if anyone else would like to have that, an additional item that came in after the agenda was published with some numbers, and I'll explain those in just a second. I think it's there. But Amber, if anyone else would like to look at that while we go along, we can do that too.
You can share it with there.
Yeah, we don't, there's plenty for it.
All right, we got plenty of that.
We'll talk about the top 2 paragraphs first. But as you all know, we've been working in my tenure here almost 2 years for a new radio system. And thanks to your gracious approval to go ahead and work with L3 Harris Technologies, we have 2 parts tonight, one with this committee and one with the Public Health and Safety Committee on the actual contract. So this year, and this approved budget amount was $250,000 approved, that ceiling for 1 year's payment of a 10-year financing for our complete new radio system for both the Stephenville Police Department and the Stephenville Fire Department. With both of those, we've been working for about the past year to go from about $2.5 million to less than $2 million. So you'll see that final, there's 2 numbers there, $1.3 million is the L3 Harris Technologies costs of this new radio system. And then below that, in the second paragraph, is approximately $633,000 for the infrastructure needs for this to last definitely for the rest of my lifetime, but to carry the city through for many years forward, many years going forward as a new system. Financing, working with Monica and finance, we have the ability to, with government capital incorporated at a 2.6% interest, have an annual payment for 10 years of $226,000, which would be well below our 250, about 24,000 below our 250,000 ceiling that you authorized in this year's budget and going forward. Now, we know there will be a couple of other costs, recurring maintenance costs, to operate this system and to be this is part of the Granbury Regional Radio Network. So Granbury is putting the majority of multi-million dollars to build this system, whereas we are able to come in at roughly $2 million versus 5, 10, 15 million it would take if we were to do this on our own. As other counties in the surrounding region come on board, which we believe they will going forward, our annual recurring costs will go down, but that would be something I would come back in next year and ask in the fixed operating budget for some much smaller amounts to add in there for annual maintenance fee. So those are the only numbers we don't have completely finalized, but what you see in front of you is our total cost for the system going forward. If with positive approvals tonight and going forward in next month's council meeting, then approximately mid-January we would begin this, if not early January process, and then by toward late summer we would be fully operational for both police and fire departments. I will add also that this is the state-of-the-art technology for the fire department aspect of it. Just found out again tonight before the meeting, besides the San Antonio Fire Department, outside of them who helped develop a fire radio that can sustain anything in that temperature to that most part, but we would be the first municipality to go live with them this fall.
Awesome.
And that's what you see in there. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Are there any questions for Chief?
And how is this going to interact with the dual dispatch with the county?
Outstanding is actually how it's going to interact in there. So we already have at least one county fire department that has begun discussions with this regional radio network and the sheriff's office related to that, but complete interoperability there. So again, we know the county has been working on their analog system and have been invested in that, but not a day goes by, Mr. Mayor, we're not talking with them about our future going forward. The only thing that it would do, if we went to a temporary relocation, that would cost us another $1.5 million, but what we do have to plan on and work on is that long-term permanent location with the county, and they've ran into some hurdles with that, getting those facilities opened up, but it will be an outstanding integration.
But there will be a handshake at that point, though, and building merge.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chief, I appreciate the work that you put in. I know that you have personal experience of the lack of existing infrastructure that's in place. Cell phones and just not being able to talk is a dangerous situation and a dangerous world that we're living in at the moment. And I appreciate the work that you've done to get us into a safer spot. So
Thank you, sir.
with that, do we have a motion on this
Make
item?
a motion to approve the purchase agreement between Stephenville and L3 Harris Technologies.
Second.
Second. Motion and second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Chief, thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
All right, the second item on the agenda is to discuss the purchase of demo ambulance and equipment. And Chief?
As Mayor, Council Committee, we're requesting approval to move forward with financing a 2021 Type 1 F550 Horton ambulance. It came available to us as a demo unit from SERVS, which is the company out of Comanche that we use for all of our ambulances so far. And they heard that we were in the market, and we were looking at another vendor, and they got very aggressive coming to us and offering a demo unit. It had, I think, 400 miles on the unit. So they really wanted our business. And so they're showing it this coming week in Austin at the EMS conference. And it'll be shown there, and it's been shown to a few other departments. But it'll have, we would receive it with less than 1,000 miles on it. It's brand new, Type 1 at 350, or 550, sorry.
This is the same item. So 2 years ago, we had a scheduled, I don't know where Alan went, but we were scheduled to purchase one. Had to delay that because of COVID. And so we're a couple of years behind on going through the replacement transition of this ambulance. But
We did check on just placing an order for a new one. The cost is around $300,000. It's $290 to over $300,000. And today they wouldn't quote us a 2022 unit because they don't believe they'll be able to get a unit for us in 2022. So they were quoting us a 2023 unit, just because of the lag in availability of the chassis.
okay. Any other comments on this?
So when can we receive this unit?
I believe like within the next week or two. It'll be after Thanksgiving.
And
Is this cost savings to what was?
well, it's a little bit below what the budget is. Is that correct? The budgeted month, the annual per.
Correct. It's
And-
below budgeted of what our annual payments were going to be on it.
Okay. That, one question did come in as it relates to this. So typically, the depreciation schedule is around 8 years. We're looking to replace the units. We have this one scheduled for financing for 10 years. Is that just to get us below budget, or what was the thought in terms of?
So it would be on a 10-year, my plan is to have a 10-year replacement.
Okay,
It'd be a 5-year front line, 5-year reserve.
Reserve.
And then be able to move, or to either remount it at that time.
okay,
With a new chassis under it.
okay.
So this is similar to the unit, is this the same copy unit we purchased used? Same box?
It's a singular unit.
So you can remount this box when you're,
Yes.
okay.
How many, because I know we've kind of had this conversation, but we're in public now. How many units will this give us to be in service?
So today, we have in our hands 2 frontline units, and that's all we have. We've got one that's still in the shop that's supposed to, any day, we're calling them daily, and they keep telling us tomorrow, next day, but we've got 3 that should be operational within a week. This would give us 4. We would probably whittle that back. We've got to do some evaluation of what fleet we're going to keep. The one that was struck on lightning, adjuster visited with us on that, and we're working through some numbers with the adjuster on what that claim is going to be.
But this would get us to where we have the proper amount of frontline and backup, so we wouldn't see a service issue.
Correct. Our goal would be, I'm probably going to pursue another new ambulance in the near future, so that we've got 2 frontline ambulances that are fresh.
Because of the age of our current.
Because of the age of our current fleet.
We have a 12 and a 8. And
I
a,
believe it was a 12, a 15, and 9 or 10.
yeah. So there's 2 units that are beyond that
No,
10-year
right.
timeline. Yeah. So, all right. Any other comments or questions for the chief? All right. Do we have a motion on the purchase of the ambulance and equipment?
I'll move with purchase. The demo ambulance is presented.
Second.
Motion a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor, that concludes the Finance Committee report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We'll go back to the top of the agenda. Chairman Leanne Durfee, Tourism.
Mayor and Councilman, we've had a group come to us with a hot funds application, and both gentlemen that we met with at the beginning are here tonight to speak, and I think they might be able to explain it better than I could. If one of y'all wants to come up and
Thank you for your time this afternoon to meet with us. What Craig Allen and I propose for the city of Stephenville is on the date of March 19th, 2022, bringing a festival to the city of Stephenville that revolves around crawfish season, as we are a crawfish business here in town. With this festival, our expectations are to involve the entire community, not just ourselves, being that it's in the festival. We will have plenty of room for multiple vendors, plenty of opportunity for sponsorships throughout the community for different businesses to be recognized, and with contributions from the festival through auctions and such, we're going to make a donation to a charity here in Stephenville, which is going to be the inclusion playground for the special needs. That's what our charity is going to be to benefit. I believe this festival, we will start on a Friday afternoon. We request that Columbia Street be closed for a free, we'll call it a pre-party festival, and have entertainment here as kind of an old school dance in the street. The festival will begin at Saturday, the following day on the 19th at noon, and go to 10 p.m.
Do you have your lineup of acts yet? Who's singing and?
Right now, everything is about 50% confirmed, at 90% confirmed, if you will. Contracts are still being worked on at this time. But we are trying to get the highest form of entertainment for Stephenville.
Right. Right. Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I got a couple. So how much are y'all gonna spend on this thing?
Our budgeted value for entertainment is going to be somewhere around $70,000.
And how does that money get raised, or I mean, is that all just private money that y'all?
Private sponsorship money, yes, sir.
Okay. And I guess, I mean, based upon the website that's provided, I mean, it looks like these events have been done by who's Charlie Diggs, I guess?
Charlie Diggs.
Okay. Are you actually are Charlie Diggs?
Yeah.
Okay, good to meet you, Mr. Diggs. We'll make sure.
Would you like to speak, Charlie, for any questions?
I mean, y'all want to, just y'all down, I don't want to overstep.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure,
that'd be
love,
great.
yeah.
So
And we have
I'm
about
Charlie Diggs,
5,000
I'm a
people watching.
promoter. Sir?
We have about 5,000 people watching. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, we're live?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm a promoter out there with festivals and concerts all over southeast Texas. Luke's a buddy of mine from high school. He's been following my career for probably the past 10 years and watch what I do. And I'll go to I'm Houston based, threw events there for years and got tired of fighting every other event around the corner. So I moved them to the smaller towns where people appreciate them more. It's more of a family fun day where we encourage people to bring their kids out. We have kids zone, petting zoo, all that stuff, shopping for everyone. We bring in a lot of headliners, but we also bring in some local talent to give them their shot, if you will. And it also, for the one part he left out, is when we bring people to town, it's not like we're trying to get Stephenville. We're trying to get 100 miles around Stephenville to come here, and which in return brings revenue to your town, bringing businesses up. I mean, we do Montgomery, Navasota, Hitchcock, Anderson. I've done several in Houston, Spring. We do them all over the place. If y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
It helps me out a little bit because I saw the website, so to put a face with what we got going on here. Because obviously the website shows that you do all those places and got a little experience with what you're doing. So
Oh, yeah.
we're not just trying to jump into it and recreate the wheel here and do something brand new. I guess with your
No,
involvement.
and that's why he called me. He wanted it to
Correct.
happen. He's like, but I've never done this. This is your wheelhouse.
That's probably a good decision because that sounds like quite the undertaking to start this by
Yeah.
yourself. So.
Yes.
And I do know the mayor of Montgomery. Ms.
Oh, Sarah?
Sarah.
Yeah.
So, and I've spoken with her. She speaks highly of his events.
Thank you.
Yes. I spoke to her as well. I called him.
Man, y'all did y'all's research.
Yeah.
I knew who you were.
Yeah. The one thing that he hasn't mentioned that I was impressed with was that they're a turnkey operation, so they have their cleanup, their own security, that's not something that, I mean, of course, our Parks and Rec and our police department would want to be involved, you know, a presence, but it's not a,
We're not providing all the staff and the
Exactly.
work and the hours that are involved. in
right.
that.
We're turnkey. We'll walk to an open pasture or a downtown square and literally throw the whole festival together.
Right.
Build it out, and then the next day you'll never be able to tell it was there.
That's the exact words that I was told on
Yeah.
the person that I spoke to. They said, you can't tell he was there the day after he's gone. So, that,
And Charlie, tell me these other places that you do these events at, what is the attendance at those typically?
What's it, what now?
What is the attendance?
Depending, I mean, like the Anderson one, it's 4 years old. We kind of cap it at 3,500 people. The Galveston one's 15,000. Working on one's 20,000. The average is probably 6,000 to 8,000 is what we normally pull out.
Okay.
And we do that on purpose, man. When you get bigger than that, it just creates more security issues, more overhead altogether, if you will. Parking's always an issue, so we have to make sure that people have somewhere to stay, they have somewhere to park. We have somewhere to put the trash, make sure everybody's in and out safely, handicap accessible, fence it all up, keep the wrong people out, if you will.
So you'll be bringing in temporary event fencing and stuff like that
Correct.
for that amphitheater area?
Correct. And I would get with him and see what we want to do with security. We always go with the local PD or sheriff's office, and we'll obviously bring in a security team as well, but they're more like bouncers. They'll be the level that takes care of all the security.
He can bounce.
He's gonna bounce out of here after you give him the new radios. I know all about that.
And I guess, I mean, from what you've seen so far and familiar with the area, I mean, do you think there's any reasons why we could not anticipate to draw that kind of crowd? I mean, I know weather and everything else is.
Honestly,
controlled.
you're bigger than some of the towns that we pulled this off in.
Okay.
And when you see, I'll give you an example, which I didn't even bring up that one. We're doing one at Waller County Fairgrounds this coming next Saturday. And it's a 90s fest with Sammy Kershaw, Andy Griggs, Shenandoah, Rick Trevino, Randy Travis, Mark Wills, Chris Cagle, all of them together. And I look at the ticket sales, because my partner over here is a huge marketing guru. I look at ticket sales, and we've already sold to 12 different states. That's just now, our ads just were taken off this week.
Okay. And then last thing, I guess no issue, we think being a month prior to Larry Joe Taylor occurring?
What's that?
There's no issue, you think, in your event being a month prior to Larry Joe Taylor occurring?
A month's
But you-
plenty of time for the people that want to come
Okay.
out to these deals.
You think
Larry
from-
Joe Taylor is not the same type of festival out there. I throw a very more family-oriented type events. People want to bring their kids out, have fun, take pictures, stuff like that.
And I noticed looking at your website again, it looks like kind of some of the acts you're bringing in are kind of more, a lot of them along the lines you mentioned, look like we had some Lee Trevino or Rick, and just kind of, I guess, more 90s type people. I mean, is it vary between
I do
genre?
everything. I do a lot of Texas country as well.
Okay.
It just depends on the area and the demographics. For this one, we were going to kind of base it more of a Texas fest, but also bring in 90s artists. I try to get to all the demographics. That way everybody can come out instead of just saying, hey, only this age from 25 to 35 can enjoy this show.
Okay.
And I don't want to say it publicly because we're not under contract yet, but the two artists that were mentioned in our meeting, whenever I looked up one of them, the last outdoor festival that they headlined, they brought in like 7,200 people, and they wouldn't be the headline at this one. The headliner is much, much bigger than that group. And they're all great bands that
I'm
were
very
mentioned.
picky about the artists. I do my research.
Yeah. So,
I think that's important with our festivals that we've had. We've got to hit, that's been our issue,
yeah.
is having the right,
Well, I think
is
this is-
having the right artists.
That's why it's important to have someone like you who does
Right.
this for a living and knows how to promote this stuff and has a following. So I'm excited to see something like this come, or the opportunity for it to come to Stephenville. I think it's a good use of our amphitheater and park area, something we need to look at in the future to do more often.
Thank you.
Something else that we discussed in with your marketing person here she might be able to answer this, was that we wouldn't be just marketing within 100 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, we named off major, every major city in Texas where we're gonna be doing, it's gonna be out there that this is gonna be here, so.
And they're asking for 25,000? That's what I see in
That was the,
Yes.
it. All right, I don't have any more questions.
Excuse your honor.
Yes, sir. No, wait a minute, we're taking pictures.
Yeah. Let me get the plaque.
Yeah,
Hold
so
on.
I guess my one question would be, not for you guys, I'm sorry, for Leanne or Julie, how does this fit within our budget or where we're maneuvering things around to be able to finance, to do this?
Well, since we have not spent the money on the day tripper situation,
Okay.
we do have that. We also, I mean, the chances, we have 500 hotel rooms in
Well,
Stephenville.
this is going to generate a lot of revenue, so,
I agree.
but we do have the money within our budget, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
We've got-
And then one other thing that sorry, I'm probably going too far. The one other thing that we talked about in our meeting was maybe doing the QR code on the tickets, on the website, on the whatever that they can click on, and it's not gonna just be the festival things. It's gonna be other things in Stephenville that they can, restaurants or other things to check out in Stephenville.
Being turnkey, would we be able to get some data and information from you on where people
Yes.
came from and stuff at the end of it? You'd be
Yeah, our
willing to share all
ticketing
that?
company, they have a manifest, and you can literally look at every zip code, you can
Okay.
type in, search what states and all that stuff.
Should be some
Yes.
absolutely
And
great
that, and I
data
want
to
to be
have.
clear, that's the reason we're doing the free thing Friday, to encourage people to come out Friday,
Stay the night.
Friday and Saturday, because once they're at the festival, they're not gonna drive back either.
Right. And then did you speak to the hotels for the block rooms? I meant to ask you that, I forgot.
I did speak to the hotel about some block rooms. At this time, being we don't know the artists or bands and how many are gonna come with them. We don't exactly know how many blocks we're gonna need. So the closer we get, the more
Right.
confirmations that we have, we'll be able
Right.
to do that.
So.
I
any other
encourage you to
questions?
get with Jeff, because he has that software, he can,
Yes.
you know, do
The
the
cell
telephone.
phone.
Yeah.
We wanted that, but that's, we've seen some data, but that would be great data for the
Yes.
ticket sales.
Right.
I mean, and we need to capitalize on that so that
And with it being a first-year event, it's,
you never know.
you
But
never know. But
I will.
we all have to
make-
start somewhere.
I will make a motion to approve the requested amount of $25,000 for the Buckland Bugs Festival.
Second.
Thank you.
Motion and second?
Oh, I'm sorry. And so then can we have a vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed, the same sign? Okay. Thank you very much.
Appreciate y'all doing this. Thank y'all very much.
Look forward to it.
Yes.
Is that all you have for hotel?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Pendleton?
Thank you, Mayor. I guess we're going to continue on with our purchase agreement with L3 Harris Technologies. So now the Finance Committee has allocated the funds. We'll get into the specifics regarding the agreement itself. I guess, Chief, if there's anything else you want to add to it, I think the agreement is pretty lengthy, but nonetheless covers, all the things that I think need to be covered from how long and warranties and replacement and scope. Everything's there. It looks like it needs to be there, but by all means, add to it what you want to.
The one thing I'd like to add to is Mr. Thomas has given us his blessing and has reviewed that contract there, along with the city of attorney for Granbury. It's basically the same contract for them, for the Corps also, and the city council with Granbury has also approved that. And they're a few months ahead of us already, and so we have also hired Trot Communications, who the city of Granbury also did, to help us with all technical language, as we're police officers and civilians in the department and needed a lot of help with that. So that's why it has taken us a little bit longer to get to this point, but we are extremely confident in the contents of that document and do ask for a favorable vote going forward with that. Sure. We have
Yes, sir.
Mr. Maddox here, our representative from L3 Harris. Yes, sir.
If I may add, Hood County has also executed, they just executed their contract a little over 30 days ago, and we use the same language as well.
Okay.
So it's gone through multiple attorneys.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions? No, it's a lot of money, but I think it's a long time coming, obviously. All right, hearing none, I'll now make a motion that we approve to recommend to full council the purchase agreement as previously funded by the Finance Committee. All right, hearing it's been seconded, I'll now proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Ayes have it, and we'll recommend to full council the purchase agreement as presented tonight. So thank you very much.
Sure.
That's it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Cook, Nominations Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We will not have action on any of the, for the Nominations Committee. We're taking that up on the 11th and 30th, but wanted to use this as an opportunity. Pardon? Huh?
But there's no action.
Well, there's no action to
Won't
be
be a
taken
vote.
today.
We'll just make a presentation.
The, just wanted to go over for those that may be listening and for all of you too, that we're going to be considering Planning and Zoning Commission. We will have an opening on Planning and Zoning. Place 4 is going to be open, and so we have about 3 possible candidates for that. We would hope that we would get more, and those will be interviewed, and hopefully we'll get some others that can. Under the Board of Adjustment, we're going to have 1 candidate that's in place 2 available. A place that's going to be empty, and place 5 too. So we've got 2 positions that we will be looking to fill. We have 2 candidates right now, but would certainly encourage people to apply. We will also interview for those positions. Under CETA, we have 3 places up, and we've the 3 people that are presently occupying those positions have applied to for their second term on CETA. Along with that, we have 4 other people who have expressed interest in that, so we will be again talking to those on the 30th. With regard to the Tourism and Visitors Bureau, we have 3 places up on the Tourism and Visitors Bureau, place 2, place 4, and place 6. Unless we have got somebody, unless they have applied, the people that can be reappointed in those positions, but they have not indicated that they would be willing to serve again at the present time. And we do, however, have 5 others who have indicated an interest in serving. Under Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, we have 3 places available, place 2, 4, and 6. We have quite a few people. As a matter of fact, we have 8 that have indicated an interest. Plus, of the 3 places, 1 has applied to be considered to be reappointed. The other 2 places we have not heard from. Under the Airport Advisory Board, we will have an opening there in place 2, and possibly 1 more. On the Senior Citizens Advisory Board, we've got 3 places open. We have 3 people that are presently serving have asked to be reappointed to that. But we also have another 3 people that have indicated an interest in serving too. So we will hash that out when we meet on the 30th. Under under the Library Board, we have 4 places. We have 1 vacancy presently, and that's place 5. We have 2, 4, and 6 are up. The people that are occupying those positions would have indicated an interest in continuing to serve. We do have 5 others that have indicated an interest in serving on the Library Advisory Board. On the Main Street Advisory Board, we have 3 places. As you know, that was just constituted this year. We have 3 places, 2, 4, and 6 that are up. Those people have all indicated an interest of continuing to serve since they've only served a little less than a year. Actually, what is it, 5 months, 4 months, something like that. We do have a lot of others that have indicated an interest in serving on the Main Street Advisory Board. Under the Building Board, we have 1 place that is, 2 places that are coming up. We've got 1 that will be vacant, and that's place 4, and we'll need to fill that. Place 2 has not indicated whether or not they want to continue to serve. We will know soon before the 30th. Mechanical Board, the Electrical Board, and the Plumbing Board are always difficult to fill, because they typically don't meet unless we're considering a new building code for the community, and then they review that. So we do have a vacancy on the Mechanical Board, we have a vacancy on the Electrical Board, and we have a vacancy, 2 vacancies on the Plumbing Board that we will be looking at too, and hopefully. So you see, we've got quite a few vacancies coming up, and we would certainly encourage people to apply. This is a great opportunity to do so. We've got a lot of vacancies, and the boards and commissions, advisory boards and commissions of the City Council, they're the ones who provide advice back to this council and work with the staff in trying to make those particular areas and those things, whether it's the library or the senior center, or whether it is Main Street or planning and zoning or whatever, much better. And so we would certainly encourage people to apply. And with that, sir, that's more of an announcement than it is anything else, but on the 11th and 30th, we will be meeting, and we will take applications until the 11th and 30th. And although I think 11th and 19th is your deadline, we're going to take applications as long as anybody wants to give them.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Trussell.
So, no one else on my committee is here, so we can't take action on anything tonight. Would you like us to review ordinance 97 so everybody's aware? Do you want to wait?
If I think it's number 7. I'd like to first go over that one. That was kind of my initiation, if you don't mind.
You want to take that? So Mr. King on
Mr. Barnes,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
the MOU.
Mr. Trussell, several months ago, the mayor asked that we find a way to locate unmarked graves at Mount Olive Cemetery. Mount Olive has a history of having graves dug without our knowledge, or we believe it has. We have been working with several areas. We discussed this with Tarleton State, and they were not able to help us out. We discussed it with a couple other universities. Texas State University in San Marcos is willing to help us with this. You have in front of you a copy of the Memorandum of Understanding. It calls for a $4,000 fee to be paid to the university. We did talk with Collier Engineering. They gave us a quote of approximately $57,000 for this. In talking with the Parks Department, Texas State believes it may take as many as 4 trips to get this done completely for a total of about $16,000. This is on the agenda for tonight, for the special meeting tonight, and it will be staff's recommendation to approve this MOU.
I've also spoken with Dr. Sherry Bend, who is the new Vice President of Equity and Inclusion, and she's interested in participating, helping us with the public.
We discussed it. Yes.
So that will be on the special
That's on
agenda
the special
tonight.
council meeting. That's
Okay.
correct.
And we'll get you back on the next council meeting, we'll wait, or committee meeting, wait. You had 2 people had to leave tonight, I apologize for that.
No, we're good.
Okay, it is now 6:10, and I'm going to, with no other, there are no other items, right? And we're gonna adjourn the council committee meetings at 6:11, and you ready? Okay, and it's now 6:11. We're gonna call a special city council meeting to order. Now I'll turn it over to Alan.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, you heard the request to purchase the demonstration ambulance and equipment from the fire chief. It does fit within the $36,000 item budgeted in the budget for that. Staff respectfully recommends the purchase authorization and financing of the purchase of that ambulance.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion that we approve it.
Got a motion?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed, motion passes. Next item.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we just discussed the Memorandum of Understanding with Texas State University for ground penetrating radar project at Mount Olive Cemetery. Staff respectfully request that you approve this MOU and authorize the city manager to sign any subsequent MOUs.
I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we opened bids on November 9th for the Senior Citizens Center, for the construction of the Senior Citizens Center for a design build project. We received one bid from Waldrop Construction in the amount, or I'm sorry, one response to our request for proposals in the amount of $1,243,842, which far exceeds our $1 million budget as stated in the RFP. Staff respectfully requests that council reject all bids and instruct staff to re-advertise and go out for bids once again.
Darren, you want to comment?
I mean, there's not much more to say. We received one bid. It was over the budget we had set, and we need to go back out and try to do this again, see if we can get it back in budget and get this thing.
So how can we advertise it better? We just need to, or do we think it was a lack of?
The only other company we know that wanted to bid on it
Didn't?
missed the deadline that day, and
Okay.
I mean, I think there was another company that maybe expressed some interest that didn't bid on it as well, so make contact with these companies and make sure they understand the parameters and.
Yes, sir.
Well, since the, I'm sorry.
I just said the cutoff date, make sure they.
Yeah, make sure they know the time they have to get this thing in.
Since staff has recommended we go back to drawing board, is there actually need for a vote then?
Yes, sir, you have to reject the bids.
Have to reject bids.
Yes, sir. Or the
Okay.
proposals.
I move that we do so.
Okay, I have a motion?
Second.
A second? Further discussion? Proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to
To
reject
all bids
is
and
approved
re-advertise.
and re-advertise.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is 6:14 and a special city council meeting will stand adjourned.